Today, we're going to continue with the rare earth minerals as we continue to learn more and more and more about, well, the challenge in front of America, and I would also add everyone else in the world other than China. This Teresa Fallon, she's a strategic thinker. She has like 180,000 followers, and she's a global energy thinker. And she comes right out of the box and say, how will we look back on this era where our policymakers lack of strategic thinking, which we have mentioned before. I mean, you can say when we should have known about this, but at least in 2010, 15 years ago, we should have known about this. And we should have done something about it right away. The first paragraph kind of like sums up what we're facing right now. So this samarium, whatever it's called, need for our jet fighter engine, we're paying 60 times the price we paid before Liberation Day. 60 times. And in the second paragraph, she points out that how much dependent upon China that we are for our rare earth minerals. Because look what they do for microelectronics, drone motors, night vision goggles, missile targeting systems, and defense satellites. Nothing we really need, huh? This is amazing to me. Look at this second paragraph. We have more than 80,000 parts that are used by just the defense industry, not our computer industry, circuit board industry, EV industry, none of that. Just our defense department uses over 80,000 parts use this. And China has very much stepped up their where are you sending it? In other words, no dual use, nothing to our defense industry. They're saying, no, you cannot send it to the defense industry. She gives an example here, and she talked to ePropelled, which is in New Hampshire. They make engines for drones, and guess what? They said that they have been asked, the Chinese government sending forms demanding drawings and pictures of ePropelled products and a list of buyers. It's also asked for assurances that rare earth magnets China would supply would not go towards military applications. So China is tracking everything. You should stop and read this. So someone was sending to us 55 metric tons of antimony mined in Australia to its smelter in Mexico. The load was transited through a Chinese port, Ningbo, and guess what? They held it for 3 months. They released it only if it was sent back to Australia, and that's where it was sent back. And we need a lot of rare earth minerals. Look at this sub here, the Virginia-class submarine, 4,600 kilograms. That's 10,150 pounds, okay, for one submarine. We need 935 pounds for the F-35 fighter. So we can use cheaper stuff, but our weapons won't be as good. What do we do then? So the reason I want to mention this is we have said before many times that our government is going to have to invest in these different breakages that happen because we are now deglobalizing. And the methodology that we are now approaching, I don't know if it's going to work. So what we're doing here is we say, look, we're going to, next 10 years, we will guarantee you a price of $110. So thereby basically creating a profitable situation for our firms to go in and do this. Instead of saying, like they did with MP Materials, we're investing in MP Materials to get what we need as a government for rare earth minerals. But the point being is that where we did invest in MP Materials, again, we guaranteed the price that we're going to pay. I don't know if this is the right way. It's like this is the capitalist way, but there is no profit in rare earth minerals. It's just not there. So they named 3 companies here that took part in a meeting, and Trump wants to keen to expand their rare earth mineral output in a manner replicating the speed of Operation Warp Speed, which gave us the vaccine for COVID. And Navarro confirmed the meeting to news agencies, adding that Trump administration aims to move as fast as efficiently possible to address perceived vulnerabilities. Perceived vulnerabilities. They're not perceived, we're vulnerable. And he didn't say whether the price floor was mentioned during the meeting. But they do say here in the top paragraph, you can read it yourself, that Navarro said it's not a one-off on what they did with MP Materials, and similar agreements were already in the work. So at this meeting with the White House, here are the 10 companies. I don't think any of them are public, but you're going to have to watch them because obviously the government's not meeting with them and telling them what they want done without them going to be involved. But here are our publicly traded companies, okay? So you can go through them yourself. I'm not recommending anything. I'm just saying here are the 10 public companies. And the bottom chart is the descriptions on what they actually do, but up at the top, there are several other companies that are also publicly traded, and they're active in the rare earth sector. So you can look at all of them also. So look, this is going to take us 5 to 7 years, but we have an issue here. As we all know, NVIDIA now has been asked to prove that they don't have a back door on their chips that we can access that we're selling, the H20s, to China. Well, this is a big deal because, as you know, we've been saying that about Huawei chips, and look at, we're all mad at Spain because they're going to use a flash chip, for God's sakes, and we're saying that they're going to be able to do something with that. So in other words, if we're putting that onto China, they're now turning around and putting that onto us. But there's an issue there. So here, what they're saying, the CAC, Cyberspace Administration of China, is demanding to know, can the Americans track and find the positioning and remote shutdown technologies of NVIDIA chips? And NVIDIA says no, but anybody who follows technology in America knows that every single tech firm gives the government a backdoor. Everyone. There's none that don't. But we don't seem to be on the same page with our congressmen and our White House and our technology. We have this Congressman, Bill Foster, who says, I know we have technical tools to prevent powerful AI technology from getting in the wrong hands. With advanced AI chips being smuggled into China and posing a national security risk, Congress must act. Following the meeting between U.S.-Chinese officials in London, China agreed to resume shipments of rare earth minerals to the U.S. In return, the U.S. agreed to allow Chinese firms to use electronic design automation, EDA, basically ASML, I'm pretty sure, software, and resume the shipment of H20 chips and the C919 flight engine parts to China. Now, the flight engine parts, they're for their Boeing, okay? I forget the name of it. It's like Comac or something like that. So that's for their Boeing, their engine parts. So they can build the plane, but they can't build the engine. But now the H20 chips. So here's the deal. If we cannot convince China that we do not have a back door on the H20, what we then trade for? What are we going to send them? Soybeans? Corn? We have a trade here, and yet we are sabotaging our own trade that we need for these rare earth minerals. So, where I think the administration is fully aware of the issue that they're facing, we continue to do things that don't make sense. Now we're putting these things on Russia. Well, guess what? Guess where our uranium comes from our nuclear power plants? Yeah, that's right, Russia. Our space station, we need their engineers and their engines. Guess what? Without it, we ain't going to space. This is the way it is. So we need to have a universal policy for the U.S. government so that, one, we can bide our time till we can build out the capabilities and not sabotage ourselves. If we don't want to sell them H20s, then just say so. What do you think? Tell me in the comments and like and follow.